Welcome back to the deep dive, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the heart of what you need to know. Today, we're incredibly excited. We're diving into Rebecca Yarros's Onyx Storm.
The big one.
Exactly, the much-anticipated third installment in her Empyrean series. I mean, you know its predecessors, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. They basically set the fantasy world ablaze, right?
Oh, absolutely. The hype is real.
It really is. And the anticipation for this one is just palpable. So our mission here in this deep dive is to really extract the essential insight.
Yeah, boil it down.
To give you a clear understanding of what makes Onyx Storm such a compelling and frankly crucial read in the series. Okay, let's unpack this. Onyx Storm.
Absolutely. And when we looked at the material for Onyx Storm, wow, there's a significant amount to synthesize. It's dense.
Right.
But just to give you that high-level view right from the start, it earns a really strong overall rating. We're talking 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, 8.5. That signals something powerful then.
Powerful and nuanced, I think. It's not just straightforward praise.
Interesting. So let's jump right into the heart of it then. Where does it start?
Well, Onyx Storm picks up almost immediately after those, well, seismic events of Iron Flame.
Okay, so no big time jump.
No, not really. And our protagonist, Violet Sorrengail, she is understandably reeling.
You'd have to be.
Yeah, from devastating revelations and betrayals that just truly shook her world and the war we've sort of been building towards.
The one between the writers and Navarre leadership.
That's the one. It's intensifying dramatically now.
Okay. And what our deep dive reveals here, which I think is really interesting, is this compelling twist. Violet and her allies, they aren't just facing external threats anymore. They're questioning everything they've ever been taught. That just fundamentally upends their world, doesn't it?
It really does. And that's right. It's clear that Violet's struggles are incredibly complex here. She's not just, navigating the emotional fallout.
It's more than that.
Oh, yeah. She's grappling with mastering her burgeoning abilities, trying to comprehend these ancient powers.
Which is a huge task in itself.
Huge. And on top of that, maintaining incredibly fraught relationships. The stakes just couldn't be higher. Her choices, it seems, truly stand to determine the future of the entire continent.
Wow.
But what's really notable, I think, is how Yarros masterfully balances these, breathtaking action sequences.
The kind we expect from this series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With intricate, high-stakes political intrigue, it makes the whole narrative feel both epic in scope, but also deeply personal to the characters.
Epic and deeply personal. That's quite a combination. It sounds like Yarros is digging even deeper into the personal cost of war, not just the grand battles.
Precisely.
Which I guess leads us naturally into the more profound thematic layers of the novel. Because beyond the dragons and the battles, what truly anchors Onyx Storm and what our analysis consistently points to is this profound exploration of power and trust.
Power and trust.
Yeah. Who wields it, who deserves it, and crucially, the devastating consequences when it's abused. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does it mean when the very institutions designed to protect people
Are the ones that break them.
Exactly.
Yeah, precisely. The book deeply explores Violet's ongoing conflict between, duty and her own conscience.
That internal struggle.
Right, and moving beyond just the action, themes of grief, trauma, and healing are absolutely central. This isn't a story that shies away from showing the physical and emotional scars of war.
It sounds like it gets quite visceral.
It really delves into the toll of violence and betrayal, maybe even more viscerally than the previous books, But it's not all darkness. Love, both romantic and platonic, emerges as a vital theme.
As a source of strength.
Strength, yes, but also, at times, complication and motivation. What's fascinating here, though, is how Yarros also dives into the cost of truth.
Ah, the cost of truth. Interesting.
Yeah, and whether some secrets are maybe better left buried. This installment feels, I'd say, decidedly more morally gray than the previous ones.
Morally gray. How so?
Well, the line between heroism and just plain survival can become quite blurred. It's not always clear-cut who the good guys are or what the right choice is.
That moral ambiguity certainly adds incredible depth to the characters, I imagine.
Definitely.
And it's precisely this conflict that truly forges them, isn't it? Take Violet, for instance. She continues to evolve as this incredibly complex and conflicted protagonist.
Still finding her way.
Very much so. Despite the trauma she endures, her internal strength, her intelligence, and her empathy, they consistently shine through. Her character arc, especially in Onyx Storm, seems to be one of profound resilience.
Resilience, yeah.
But not the shallow, easy kind, you
Yeah.
know. It's the messy, painful kind that involves fear, doubt, and significant loss. That's a powerful distinction for a fantasy hero, I think.
Indeed. It feels earned. And it's not just Violet, right? Xaden, the other half of that central dynamic,
Always complicated with those two.
he remains a deeply compelling, if yeah, at times frustrating figure. Their emotionally charged push and pull dynamic continues to be a major driving force in the narrative.
I bet.
And crucially, we see significant growth in supporting characters too.
Mhm.
People like Rhiannon, Redoc, even Andarna. Their individual arcs really enrich the emotional landscape of the book.
So it's not just the Violet and Xaden show.
Not at all. And this realism, this sense that, no one is safe, no one is untouched by war, that truly gives the story its emotional heft.
That feels important.
It is. It's a world where choices have real consequences for everyone involved. No plot armor, necessarily.
It sounds like a world that feels incredibly lived in and maybe brutally honest.
I think that's fair.
Beyond the story itself, our deep dive also revealed quite a bit about Yarros' writing craft,
Yeah.
which seems pretty incredible.
Yeah, she has a definite style.
We see her writing with a distinct cinematic flair and real emotional immediacy. Her prose manages to be both fast-paced and introspective.
That's a tricky balance.
It is, allowing for intense internal conflict right in the middle of a battle scene. That takes skill. And the dialogue. It apparently feels sharp and natural.
Mostly.
Mostly. Okay, what's the caveat?
Well, there's an occasional note that it can sometimes feel a little, maybe over-modern for the fantasy setting, just occasionally.
Ah, okay. A minor point, perhaps?
Perhaps. That blend of action and introspection is certainly a hallmark of her style, though. And speaking of the emotional landscape, the romantic scenes are described as passionate and intense.
Right, the romanticy aspect.
Exactly, showcasing how the series continues to evolve, sort of increasingly blurring the line between YA and adult fantasy with a growing maturity.
So definitely not just YA anymore.
It's moving further into that adult space, yes. As for pacing, it does fluctuate a bit.
How so? Slows down.
Some middle sections apparently slow down to deliver, crucial world building or some deep emotional necessary stuff, but it breaks the action sometimes. But if we connect this to the bigger picture of a reader's experience, the source notes that the final third is just relentless and unforgettable.
Ah, so it pays off.
Big time. So any lulls are definitely made up for by a gripping conclusion.
That's great to know for readers who might worry about the flow then.
Eh.
Okay, finally, it becomes clear that this book is kind of tailor-made for specific audiences, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a target readership.
If you loved Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, well, Onyx Storm sounds like an absolute must-read, no surprise there.
Obvious one, yeah.
It's also for fans of character-driven fantasy, especially with a strong romantic subplot. And of course, those who enjoy dragons, morally complex decisions, and those military fantasy settings.
Checks all those
It
boxes.
sounds like a pretty broad appeal within the fantasy genre, actually.
It absolutely is. But, and this is a crucial point to remember, this book is recommended for readers 16 and up.
Okay, good flag away.
Due to mature themes, violence, and some pretty intense emotional content, this isn't a light, breezy fantasy read. It delves into complex and often heavy subject matter that, frankly, demands a certain level of engagement from the reader.
Understood. So wrapping up our deep dive into Onyx Storm then.
Okay.
It's clear this book, with its strong 8.5 out of 10 rating, truly cements Rebecca Yarros as a powerhouse in the fantasy genre.
No question. She's made her mark.
It's described as emotionally rich, thematically deep, and just a thrilling continuation of a series that uniquely blends romance, revolution, and dragons like few others managed to do.
That blend is really her signature, isn't it?
It seems to be. And while it might have some minor fluctuations in pacing, its profound emotional resonance and those incredibly high stakes more than compensate, offering a truly captivating experience. So what does this all mean for you, the reader?
Well, I think this raises an important question for us all, really. In a world like this one, where the line between heroism and survival gets so blurry.
Where institutions crumble.
Exactly. And secrets bear such a heavy cost.
Yeah.
How do we determine what truths are truly worth fighting for? And maybe even harder, what sacrifices are justified?
Big questions.
Huge. Onyx Storm seems to ask these very questions of its characters, and I think, by extension of us as readers, we highly encourage you to dive into the book yourselves, explore these powerful themes, and experience the storm firsthand.